Welcome back. You're watching an early edition of Fox and Friends. First, in just hours, President Trump will address the nation after Iran launched over a dozen ballistic missiles at U.S. troops in Iraq. This, just the latest escalation of the rogue regime against the United States. So what should our next steps be? National security analyst Ryan Mauro joins us now to weigh in. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, Ryan, I want to pick up where our last guest left off, and that being that this is an indication that what President Trump was trying to do is, in fact, working. Do you agree with that?
1,000%. I would say that our strategy is working far better than any of us reasonably expected. The Iranian retaliation is the bare minimum that we could ever dream of in this situation. So it's clear that the regime said, well, we feel like we have to retaliate in order to save face, but what's the bare minimum we can do? And as a result, there's no American or reportedly even Iraqi casualties. And so this is really just a way of saving face. And both sides have an opportunity now to declare victory and de-escalate. So this is a smashing success for the president.
So how do both sides do that and still come out feeling like, you know, they're a winner in the situation?
Well, I wouldn't say that the Iranian regime actually feels like winners, but they can pretend that they feel like winners. And that's what the supreme leader of Iran is doing right now by saying, oh, we really hurt the Americans, even though there were no casualties. And make no mistake about it, they're actually scared. And the United States...
Iran is trying to say that there were casualties, trying to say that 80 Americans were killed. But as we know, at least at this point, reports that we know to be true were that there were no U.S. casualties.
Right. And so the regime is doing that. They're lying to their own people so that they can say, look, we really retaliated when, by all accounts, they clearly didn't. I mean, this is just a bare minimum of their capabilities. And again, what we expected that they would do. Iran is deterred. I mean, that was the debate about the strike that killed Suleimani. Would this actually deter the Iranians or would it escalate? And what we're seeing is that it actually is helping to de-escalate, and it is already deterring the Iranians. And guess what? You're going to see further successes in the future, most likely, because now you're probably going to see restraint on the part of Iranian proxies in Iraq because they know that the calculus has changed in regards to what they can get away with.
Yeah, deterrence through strength. So what do you expect to hear from the president when he speaks later this morning?
Well, I'm sure that he's going to brag a little bit. He's known to do that here and there. But I think you're going to hear him make some overtures to the Iranians and make it clear that we're not looking to get into a war. We feel that we taught them a lesson by killing Suleimani and the other commander that he was with that oversaw the Iraqi militias that Iran oversees, and say, look, there's a better way to move forward together if you want to take that opportunity. Or if you choose not to take this opportunity and act the way that you were before, you're going to be suffering a lot of pain. Now, my cautionary note that I would give to the president, though, is we have to start preparing for the collapse of the regime. We have tough sanctions on them. The Iranian people hate the regime, and the regime is clearly weak. Their leaders are a lot older, and I think we need to start preparing for the possibility that that could happen. And it would be potentially a very good thing, but there are bad things that can happen as a result as well.
Yeah, potentially a good thing, but also, as we have seen and as history has shown us, potentially a vacuum being created and perhaps someone taking over that is far worse, if you can imagine that. Ryan, thank you.
And I would also say we need to build up an independent Kurdistan as well. We need to have a backup plan to Iraq.
Yes. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So